Hi, every Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about chapter 6 and it's about cognitive development in infants. And we're going to go through our fact or fiction first. Number 1, if a 5-month-old drops a rattle out of a crib, the baby probably will not look down to search for it. This is actually true, and this is because the baby has not acquired object permanence yet, which means that they don't actually understand that it still exists when they don't see it. Number 2, a baby is given keys to grasp, and if the baby's teething, it'll be motivated to see if these keys afford an opportunity to chew. This is definitely true. Babies love to put things in their mouths, and they're going to try chewing on everything they can find. It's one of the reasons why they actually got rid of leaded paint in cribs, because babies were teething on their cribs and, of course, consuming lead, which isn't good for them. Number 3, children the world over follow the same sequence in early language development. This is actually true. It does not matter what language the child is learning. They do go through the same sequence. And number 4, when they first begin combining words, infants tend to put them in the correct order, as in more juice. This is not true. Usually they'll say juice more. So in Piaget's theory, how children think changes with time and experience, and their thought processes always affect their behavior. Sensation, perception, and cognition cycle back and forth in what Piaget calls circular reactions. There's primary circular reactions, secondary circular reactions, and they all have substages within them. And then tertiary circular reactions. In stage 1, reflexes become deliberate. Sensation leads to perception next to cognition, and then sensory motor intelligence begins. In stage 2, infants adapt their reflexes as repeated responses and provide information about what the body does and how that action feels. In stage 3, infants attempt to produce exciting experiences, making them last, like waving their arms and laughing when a rattle is put in their hands. Even the sight of a favorite book or a smiling parent can trigger active efforts for interaction. Stage 4 involves new adaptation and anticipation because babies have a goal that they try to reach, a means to an end. They might employ 2 circular reactions in concert to attain a goal, for instance, by grabbing a toy in each hand or battling a mobile back and forth. These reactions are the third and last type of feedback loop in sensory motor intelligence, involving active exploration and experimentation. In stage 5, a little scientist experiments without anticipating the results by using trial and error in active and creative exploration, as in taking your phone apart or playing with food. Deferred imitation is a milestone of stage 6. The infant follows a sequence of first perceiving something that someone else does, and then performing the same action hours or days later, like imitating your gestures while on the phone or doll play. Using habituation, the process of getting used to an object or event through repeated exposure, researchers have studied ways in which babies detect the difference between stimuli. Before the advent of the EEG and other modern technology, Piaget confined primary circular reactions to reflexes in infants from birth to age 4 months. Modern technologies monitor such things as infant eye gaze, heart rate, and electrical activity in the brain. These technology-driven observations indicate to scientists that 1-month-olds can detect the difference between p and ba sounds, or between a circle with 2 dots inside it and a circle without any dots. These and many other observations indicate infant cognition experiences in advance of Piaget's stages. Using ERP, event-related potential, brainwave activities show that infants can understand language before they can talk. In fact, we've actually seen that infants can actually remember things that they heard in utero. Similar to how computers analyze data, researchers in information processing consider how humans analyze information, including sensory input, connections, stored memories, and output. When the child in this animation was just 3 months old, she would have tried to catch the ball as it whizzed past and would have succeeded at touching it at only about 20% of the time. By contrast, 9-month-olds, like the child in this animation, know when a ball affords catching. They grab the slower balls and refuse to try for the fast ones, and their success rate at touching the ball is almost 100%. This experiment by Carolyn Rovey Collier indicates that babies remember a previous experience at 1 week out and sometimes at 2 weeks out. During a reminder session in this experiment, the babies watched the mobile move but were not tied to it or positioned in any such way that they could kick. Many other studies have found that infant memory is fragile, but that reminders and repetition may help even 4-month-olds to remember. After about 6 months of age, infants retain information for a longer time than younger babies and with less training and reminding. By 1 year, many kinds of memories are apparent. For instance, a 9-month-old may watch someone play with a toy he or she has never seen before. Then, if given that toy on the next day, the 9-month-old will play with the toy based on the previous day's observations. So looking at this experiment, 1 week later when the ribbon's attached, most babies kick to move the mobile. So they realize that when they kick, the mobile moved. 2 weeks later when the ribbon's attached, not all the babies remember to kick. And more than 2 weeks later when the ribbon's attached, most if not all babies do not remember to kick. But if they get a reminder section and a ribbon's attached, a day after the reminder session, babies remember to kick. Habituation to noise has been demonstrated in fetuses several weeks before birth, suggesting that listening and remembering are inborn, basic to being human. By 6 months of age, infants can distinguish just by looking at someone's mouth movements and no sound whether that person is speaking their native language or not. In the next 2 slides, you'll scratch that part. Babbling begins when babies are between 6 and 9 months old. Child-directed speech is also called baby talk or motherese. So here you're seeing milestones in language development.
No, it's not that bad though, is it?
I'm desperate for sleep cry.
And once they got this thing, I mean, honestly, you could have buried corpses. It's massive. And they filled it in though, that's what got me. They buried it. You know, went out to start showing the hole the next day.
Infants respond vocally to adult noises and expressions as well as their own internal pleasures and pain, with crying, cooing, and a variety of other sounds. They like alliteration, rhymes, repetition, rhythm, and varied pitch, like lullabies, and that's one of the reasons why Dr. Seuss is so popular too. When parents use signs with their deaf children, at 10 months old, the child uses about a dozen distinct repetitive hand gestures, as if babbling, and all babies express concepts with gestures sooner than with speech. At around the 1-year mark, babies are no longer just singing and talking to themselves, as in babbling, but communicating in language. Once they reach a vocabulary of about 50 expressed words, understood words are far more extensive. It builds rapidly at a rate of 50 to 100 words per month, with a 21-month-old saying twice as many words as an 18-month-old. Although all new talkers say names, use similar sounds, and say more nouns than any other part of speech, the ratio of nouns to verbs and adjectives varies from culture to culture.
Right, see, Mike is pretty smart. Alex.
¿Dónde están?
Hello.
You like thunder?
Is this mommy?
Mommy hat.
Is this daddy?
Mommy. Mommy. This is mommy.
That's mom. Which one is big? Which one is big?
Mommy.
Is this big? Which one is...
The behaviorist, B.F. Skinner, noticed that spontaneous babbling is usually reinforced. According to the social pragmatic theory, social impulses, not explicit teaching, lead infants to learn language as part of the package of being human and social animal. Noam Chomsky coined the term LAD, L-A-D, and used the term universal grammar to describe the common mental structure all children use for human language. So now what I'd like you to do is go into the forums and talk about the chapter 6 is, can we make babies smarter? Can we teach them how to read? Can we teach them to do all these things that can make them smarter? And I want you to make sure to support your response with the book.